Alright YouTube, welcome to part 11 of my huge RC trophy truck build. I know part 10 was a bit of a cop out, just showing you some photos of the cage, but you saw the manufacture and it's been painted now, so I'll upload that in the next couple of days. Most of my fabrication's done now. I'll just go through some of the bits that I've been putting together. This is the servo plate that's got the throttle servo and the brake servo on, and also the master cylinder, which runs off then to feed the caliper cylinder, which is separate to what I've got here. I've got a Savox waterproof servo up front for the break-ins, rating 40 key. I mean, if I get 30 out, I'll be fine using that Nisa master cylinder off of old YZ that I found. This is just like a Barger sort of generic 30 kilo servo, which I'm going to be using for the throttle. It's sprung at the back of the carb, so it shouldn't be an issue with that. I've extended the lead to take it up to the receiver box, which I've got sat on the roof above with obviously the aerial. The brake calipers I'm using are Hope M4s off kind of vintage mountain bikes these days. I'm used to using Hope stuff on bikes. I like the way these look, and with the adapter plates I've made for the front hubs, they'll work pretty well. Let me just get a disc, I'll show you. So they sit, they get quite a good sort of surface area for the two pads. The caliper brackets that I've made, I've welded onto the main hubs, so they're in place just with little standoffs on these. There's a pair on there, you can just see, just some little steel standoffs which keep them in line with the disc and put it where I need it to be. As you can probably see, I've got the Monster Green over the wheels, the shock springs, the cage. Most of the external stuff is either just black or the Monster Green. These are the shocks, just with the springs painted. I think there was 16 springs in total for the 8 shocks, because obviously I'm 2 on each corner. I don't know whether to use one as a bypass shock and lose the spring off them, depending on the weight of the oil that I end up having to use because of the weight of the vehicle, and also the setup, and see how it reacts. If I can get away with taking a set of springs away, then I will. I'll keep both shocks obviously, but I'll reduce the dampening if it looks like it's going to make things easier and react better. The Tonegawa's in its mount, waiting to go in. Again, the wiring's been extended. It's had its separate 12 volt supply put through. It needs it. I'll probably put a capacitor in. I'll just bring it down to sort of 9 volt, so it's not under too much stress. Got some nice high tensile bolts in there that I found in a box, just the job. Keep that in place. Where this sits under the cage, I've got a grill set in like a bonnet vent, and it just happens that where the grill sits and the way it directs the airflow, it'll be feeding air into the side of the servo because it sits that way up. So the flow will be good to it, which obviously will help keep it cool and maybe prolong the life. We'll see how that goes. Fuel pumps there, just a Facet pump waiting to go in. This is the receiver box for the roof. It's on its own, 7.2 power. I think I'm gonna use the power from the main battery and the main charge to run the actual power for the servos, and have the signal as a separate feed from this battery to save any sort of interference. It's not wired up yet, but you can see there I've just got a simple setup with the receiver and the battery, and obviously the switch. The switch I've put in has got a charging unit, so I can actually plug in a lead from the main battery feed I don't know if you can see it there, and just charge up whenever I need to. I've got a battery monitor meter just on there on the top as well to check that I've got enough coming through, obviously before I start trying to drive it. The engine is together, as you can see. Pull starts on, the carbs on. The upper mount I've made, obviously it has to bolt through the original chassis. So I've got this there at the top which will brace it against the two side wings, and then underneath it still has a 10mm bolt going straight through the main pivot. I need to change the throttle cable, but what I've used, I've actually got this is a Lambretta gear change cable mount. So this controls the feed of the gear cables on an old Lambretta scooter. I had one lying about and I knew that if I give it a bit of a chop down and shaped it a little, I could use it for this. So this will actually carry the cable through, as you can see there where that grommet is, and fix to that servo that I showed you before. I've got a little cable nipple underneath that I can mount to, so that'll work fine. So that'll bolt alongside the engine on the, I've got a mounting point on the chassis that was there just for that point. Right, thanks for checking it out again and sticking with it. I'll be putting some things up in the next couple of days, so hopefully leave a like,